promises to be a guessing game on table manners. Betty, our hostess, is having a few of her friends to her home for a birthday party. She has been to any number of little parties like this, but this is the first time she has given a party all by herself. Like everyone else, she thinks that her etiquette is perhaps not perfect, but good enough so that there are no glaring errors. She is proud of her table arrangement and thinks she deserves a word of congratulation. But the housekeeper must tell Betty she has noticed a few errors. A napkin is out of place. The butter knife belongs on the butter dish, not next to the meat knife. And a water glass is missing. Small matters, but they are important when they show whether or not your habits of etiquette are correct. See if you notice right away when someone is incorrect or is definitely correct. Betty's confidence is shaken a bit, and she has doubts of her correctness. Should she have preceded her guests into the room? Is she directing them to their places properly? Should Betty have used place cards? The young man who is trying, too late, to assist Betty with her chair is Bob. It is his birthday that is being celebrated, and he is acting as host. He seems to feel that he, too, has gotten off to a wrong start. Betty's arm shows that she is trying to be at ease and just act as she always does. Notice now how she is spreading her napkin. Is that correct? What of Bob's way of opening his napkin and tucking a corner in his belt? Could that be all right? Bernie and Helen seem quite certain of the way they open their napkins and place them in a half fold in their laps. They seem to be really at ease. But then everyone is more at ease now that the party is really started. The main thing is that they should enjoy each other's company. Betty and Bob aren't worrying about their mistakes for a moment, but in the back of their minds they realize they will have to pay more attention to their manners. They know that the object of correct etiquette is not to make life formal and dull, but to make it fully enjoyable. There are reasons for each act of etiquette, as in a man's assisting a lady with her chair, or the order with which people are served. Bob is hungry, and the soup looks good. He is using his company manners, but as we see, he is doing at least 3 things wrong. Now that the soup is served, Betty sees that the crackers are passed. Floyd passes the crackers to Dorothea before he helps himself. Should he have helped himself first or not? Bob is eating before the others. What about that? Apparently the guests are waiting for Betty to pick up her spoon before they begin. Dorothea waits until she sees that Betty is eating, and then she too starts, and they all enjoy it. Bob gradually becomes aware that he and Dorothea are eating their soup differently. He realizes that he knows better than he is acting. The spoon should move away from you. The left hand isn't needed to hold the dish. And the spoon shouldn't be filled to overflowing, for that is always awkward. But naturally, the guests give no indication of having noticed any error on Bob's part, since that in itself would be important. As the rich dish and puts them on his plate, and back he goes to his soup in the same old way. Then Bob notices that the others have placed their relish differently and changes them from one plate to the other, knowing there is a reason, but what is it? But having made the change, Bob is glad to see Betty has noticed that he corrected himself. All is well again with the party. No one's enjoyment is being interrupted with any problems for the moment. Betty now is running into some problems of her own, things that she hadn't thought of until now. That elbow on the table isn't one of her problems because she isn't even aware of it, but she is aware of the olive as a problem. Is there a correct way of eating an olive? Shouldn't you just pop it into your mouth and eat it? But then how do you take out the pit? With your fingers? And when you have the pit, where should you place it? Floyd seems to have confidence in his way, but also too many fingers. Betty thinks she might try Floyd's way. Betty hopes that she doesn't look as awkward as she feels. Now our hostess feels better about the olives, but right away she sees something else. Dorothea is breaking her celery before taking a bite. Celery has always been just celery. You ate it in whatever lengths you found it. Is it easier to handle in shorter lengths? And does it look like a smaller bite when you dip it in the salt and then bite off a portion? Bernie and Helen don't seem to be concerned with any problems. Bernie eats a radish and simply enjoys it, and he seems certain of himself. Helen is even tipping her soup plate for a last sup. Can that be correct? Certainly her manners aren't interfering with her enjoyment of the party. As host, Bob is expected to serve the meat course. At home, his father does the serving. It looked perfectly simple, and it is. But if you were in Bob's place, would you know positively what to do? Which serving implement should he use? Should he just go ahead as best he can? Dorothea is looking away so as not to notice. Bob still isn't sure of what to do, but he can't hesitate forever. That amount seems too much. A lady is not flattered by being offered a portion the size that might appeal to a hungry lumberjack. Betty is worried for Bob, but after all, he is trying. Everyone learns by experience, even when mistakes are made, and one isn't at all sure of anything that he is doing. Bob wonders if the portions he is serving are now too small. Should he give a large portion to the men and small ones to the ladies? Or should he serve about this amount and let the guests return their plates if they wish a second helping? Now Betty is about to serve the salad. Some new questions are arising. Can she use the implements for serving the salad correctly? And what size should the portions of salad be? Is she offering too little? Is she getting a proper assortment? As Betty passes the plate, should she say for whom the plate is intended? Bernie and Helen act as though everything were going smoothly with them. And so really it is. In spite of Betty's worries, there are no mishaps. Floyd and Dorothea are enjoying themselves. Bob, you notice, is not starting first this time. He waits with the others for Betty to start. Here is the kind of fun that they all thought of when the party was planned, of having a good meal together and plainly enjoying one another's company. The errors that have been made haven't taken the fun out of the party, and we must remember to give them credit for all the things that have been done correctly. For every mistake made, a dozen things have been done correctly. Bob is feeling more confident of himself. He seems to remember that it is correct to use his knife for cutting lettuce or tomato if they are served in pieces that are too big for a proper bite. What do you think? Is he wrong or is he right? Having confidence in your manners is important to your feeling at ease socially. But the person with confidence isn't necessarily the person who is correct. Up until this minute, Betty has been confident that a person should butter his with his fork. She knows definitely. It seems safe. If he is correct, then she will be too. From one extreme to another. One minute he is uneasy, the next overconfident. He is forgetting even his companers and is acting as he usually does in telling one of his favorite stories. Dorothea and Floyd give him their attention when he's looking at them, but at the same time they manage to continue eating while their food is warm. Bob isn't letting the story interfere with his eating either. So let's try counting the number of obvious blunders. The waving of his knife and fork about. Talking with food in his mouth. Monopolizing the conversation. But it is an exciting story. It's about a trip up in the mountains, and then, uh-oh. This isn't the kind of an ending to the story that Bob had in mind, but it is quicker and maybe better. At least it stopped Bob from making any more mistakes. Betty, too, has discovered that she had forgotten a couple of items of behavior. She is thinking that perhaps she and Bob both need to be embarrassed a bit to make them admit that their manners aren't as good as they should be. Bob may be thinking the same thing, because he certainly looks as if he has decided to make a lot of changes. The others, of course, say nothing. Betty decides that the first thing for her to do is to regain her poise. Just act as though no error errors had been made. But she will be more observing of her own manners and those of others too. Is there anything in what Bernie and Helen are doing that would get your attention right away? Anything in the way he helped himself to more jelly? How about the way he holds his knife and fork? Or the way he cuts his meat? And takes it to his mouth with his left hand. When you are eating meat, do you take the meat to your mouth with the fork in your right hand or your left? Is there a question of correctness here? Helen is also using her left hand. Betty holds the fork in her left hand while cutting the meat, and then passes the fork to her right hand for placing it in her mouth. This is zigzag eating. She has noticed that the British and continental people usually use their left hands. But now that she is beginning to take her manners seriously, she wonders if there is a matter of correctness involved or whether both ways are equally correct. One way American, the other European. Betty wishes she were as certain of that point as she is of how her knife should be placed. Bob has never heard of zigzag or continental ways of eating meat, but he is on the watch out for such things now. And as soon as he notices what Betty is doing, he is ready to follow her example, whether she is right or wrong. He uses his left hand all right, even if he does take an oversized bite. Bob congratulates himself on trying a new way. He and Betty have a lot to learn. At least there are no further mishaps as the meat course is finished and the table cleared for dessert. Bob is happy now and is proud of himself. Formal parties like this are really enjoyable when one isn't afraid of doing the wrong thing. Bob has reached the point where he feels that since his intentions are good and he is watching himself, that all is well. If you just try to figure out what is the reason for each rule of etiquette, you find that the rules are sensible. After all, correct manners are simply the way one person shows his consideration for another. In other words, proper manners are your way of showing common politeness. As far as Bob is concerned, this is the best birthday he has ever had. And to top it off, a big birthday cake that Betty had made for him. He really appreciates this. For the cake is a symbol, like the whole dinner, of friendship. A very delicious symbol of the regard that Betty and her friends hold for Bob, particularly Betty. The lighting of the birthday cake with candles is an old custom, and so is the blowing out of the candles. But do you suppose the placing of the candles at the side is a modern touch of avoiding possible germs being blown on the cake? Serving the meat course upset Bob. Apparently serving the cake has its difficulties too. Our hostess isn't certain that she should be helping Bob. She worried about leaving the table to bring in the cake in the first place. Betty wondered if the serving should be left to the housekeeper. What would you say? There is no denying that Bob needs help. He is having trouble with the serving implements again. Do you think he might be able to figure out from the shape and the size of the blades which to use? Cutting and serving your own birthday cake would seem to be a pleasure, but could you actually do this any more gracefully than Bob is? Betty's help may not be as great as she thinks. What of her reaching in front of Bob? And about her placing the dessert forks? Are these correct? Bob accompanies Betty to her place, assisting her with her chair before resuming his serving. He is at least trying to change his habits. And you notice, he forgot his napkin and he is serving smoothly now and is not distracting his friends with his difficulties. They are free again to chat as they wish. And once again, the party is fun. Bob and Betty met more problems than they expected. As we are seeing, people like Betty and Bob, who want to entertain their friends and have good time together, forget that poor manners can really interfere with the fun of the party. There is no fun in being worried, unsure, or ill at ease. It is much simpler in the long run to face your problems, find out what the correct answer is, and then when you act in a way that you know for certain is correct, your mind is perfectly free. Of course, all this isn't accomplished just by wishing. There are still habits that have first to be detected and then broken. This is hard. Then new habits have to be formed. But a little study of etiquette will help greatly, and its lessons are all practical. Once you have formed correct habits in your manners, you will find that they give you a sense of confidence. That is a reward in itself. Our party is ending, but let's hope that for you it is, in another sense, just a beginning. As you think of Betty and Bob and their problems, compare your own manners. Don't forget that it is by their manners that polite people the world around show their consideration for one another. A dinner party is just one way of enjoying company of your friends. A good meal, good company, real enjoyment, that's what a dinner party is for.
Now we will answer the questions asked about etiquette as you saw dinner party. We will look at the scenes which show correct behavior and make certain that you know what is correct. The housekeeper is correct, of course, about the napkin, the butter knife, and the missing water glass. This is the proper way of opening and placing your napkin. The posture is correct, too. Betty's seating of her guests is correct. The men and women are seated alternately. There is no need for place cards at a small party of this type. The housekeeper serves each person from his left, which is correct, except for serving drinks, which are served from a person's right side, where the glasses and cups are placed. In passing the crackers, Floyd first offers them to his partner before helping himself. He is right in this. Even though Bob is acting as host, he should not begin eating before the others, but wait for Betty, his hostess, to begin, as the others are doing. Dorothea waits until Betty picks up her spoon, and then they all begin. Dorothea is correct in the example she sets for Bob in the eating of soup. The spoon moves away from her. The sup is small. Betty improves her way of eating an olive. But she could improve still more by not nibbling, but just taking small bites. Anyway, she disposes of the pit correctly on the butter dish. It is proper to break celery into short lengths so that it can be handled more easily. Again, Betty is awkward, but she does break the celery and salt it properly. Even in the small items of food, like olives and celery, sensible rules apply. Bernie, too, is correct, but a little awkward. For all of Bob's fears and fumblings about serving properly, he manages to select the right portion of meat, not too large, not too small. Betty shouldn't worry. These portions may seem small to some of you, but they're about right. The plate is not heaped with food or overflowing. And later on, Bob will offer a second helping to those with hearty appetites who wish more. It is perfectly polite to accept a second helping. In the serving of the salad, Betty is correct in the way she uses the serving spoon and fork, in her selection of the salad vegetables, and in the portions she offers. She should not direct her guests in the passing of the plates. Bob happens to be right in using his knife to cut the tomato in his salad. However, a salad is usually prepared so that a knife will not be necessary. Only head lettuce and tomato may be cut. In buttering vegetables, it is correct to use the fork rather than the knife. Usually, vegetables are buttered in the kitchen, except where individual preferences can't be known in advance, as with potatoes. Betty needs no correction in her manner of breaking a small portion from her roll before buttering and placing jelly on it. She is correct in this, and not at all awkward about it. Bernie's way of holding his knife and fork and of cutting his meat is proper, but his eating with his left hand is a matter you may wish to discuss or investigate for yourselves. Perhaps the people in your family or your section of the country all eat meat with the right hand. Experts on etiquette suggest to you that the eating of meat with the left hand is preferable to zigzag eating, mostly because it is simpler and not because it is a continental custom. Betty is imitating the others until she can think the matter over. But using the left hand correctly does not excuse oversized bites, even with the best of intentions. However, Bob does use his napkin correctly at last. In cutting and serving the cake, Bob is actually correct in what he does, even if he is slow about it. And Betty's helping him is informal, but still correct. Putting the candles around the cake may be overcautious, but might prevent possible germs from being blown on it. Bob uses the cake knives properly and manages to get the cake on the plate safely. The shape of the knives tells him how they may best be used for cutting and lifting. Betty shouldn't reach in front of Bob, but she does place the dessert fork on the plate properly. Betty and her friends have no difficulty in eating the cake correctly and with enjoyment. They take enjoyment in knowing they are correct. But Bob's enjoyment almost makes him forget to take bites that aren't too big to be put in the mouth without awkwardness. Yet in correcting himself, he congratulates himself on his progress. As the party ends, the men assist the ladies with their chairs, and the gentlemen escort their ladies from the dining room. Bob excuses himself for passing in front of the others, then assists Betty. As host and hostess, they leave last. Their party a success.
Oh, Sue, where are you?
In my room, Don.
Do you look smooth?
Why, thank you, sir. So?
Yes, indeed. Both Don and Sue look like the kind of people you'd like to know, don't they? Of course, right now, they're dressed for their Friday dates. But don't you have the feeling that they're always well-groomed?
Yes, and that's no accident. For Don and Sue, the question, how do I look, depends on good grooming habits. Health, posture, cleanliness, and neatness, plus a daily routine of little finishing touches. Take last night, for example. On weeknights, when there are no dates, there's plenty of time to do little things that make for a well-groomed appearance.
Hey, Sis, haven't you finished with that iron yet?
You can have it in just a minute. Haven't you got anything else to do? Don, what are you doing in my sewing box?
Well, there's a loose button here.
Oh, all right, I'll fix it for you. That is, if you polish my shoes.
Well, I guess it's a deal. I have to polish my own. I might as well.
Aw, thanks.
Clothes pressed and mended, shoes polished. These are a few of the habits with which Don and Sue keep neat. And neatness is one of the fundamentals of grooming. So here's part of your big question, how do I look? Are my clothes neat and clean? Whether you do your own or achieve it by cooperative efforts, keep your clothes looking neat and clean.
And cleanliness and neatness apply to you as well as to your clothes. So after a cleansing, relaxing bath, that's a good daily habit, Sue has a regular routine. And plan time, too, for the finishing touches, doing your nails, brushing your hair, and so on. Sue avoids red nail polish since it would call attention to her stubby hands. A clear polish keeps her nails sparkling. Once a week, Sue gives herself a complete manicure. Then daily care of her nails is easy. In the same way, regular shampoos and daily brushing keep her hair clean and glossy. And these finishing touches that add so much to Sue's cleanliness and neatness all fit into a simple schedule of daily activities. And now for at least 8 hours of sleep. Good health is the rule, for health is one of the foundations of your appearance.
Leave some hot water for me. And hurry, I'll have to shave.
All right, Don.
What to wear? The weather has something to do with your choice of clothes, but Don also thinks of other things. Most of his clothes are clean and pressed, so he's not as limited in selection. How about these slacks and this shirt? What do you think? How will Don look in this combination?
Let's hope he'll pay a little attention to patterns and colors.
How about this combination?
That's better. Now a tie to go with the outfit and Don's all set.
Don is putting one more finishing touch to his appearance. A well-matched outfit of clothes. How will he look?
Good enough in that outfit.
And now another little habit of cleanliness and neatness. Dirt under your fingernails must be cleaned every day, and it's better in private.
All right, Don, you're next.
Now for a cleansing morning shower.
Meanwhile, Sue gives thought to the day. What will she wear? That depends on her activities, of course. For school, choose comfortable, not too dressy clothes. Perhaps a skirt and a blouse to go with it. But what about these two blouses? Which is more appropriate for school? Which goes with the skirt?
Fellows like to see girls dress up, but in general only for a special occasion.
Yes, choose clothes that are suitable to your needs and situation. But remember that any clothes look better with good posture. Now that her clothes are selected, Sue is ready to fix her hair. What to do with those curls she so carefully put in last night? It doesn't matter just what hairstyle you use, as long as it looks right on you. Upswept? Loosely over the shoulders. Just be sure your hairdo suits you and that your hair is neatly in place.
And here's something else for your appearance. Eat a hearty, balanced breakfast. There's nothing like wholesome food to help keep you in good health.
And that means a clear complexion, shining eyes, glossy hair.
In short, that means a better appearance. Don's all set to look right at school, isn't he?
Mother, too, keeps a good appearance, even around the house, for that keeps up her spirits.
And Father dresses according to his work, relying on cleanliness and neatness as the foundations of his appearance. So, for each individual, the finishing touches of appearance may be his or hers alone, suited to individual needs, actions, ideas.
After breakfast, Sue goes back to her room for some finishing touches. Her makeup. Her powder is one that blends with her natural coloring. She pats it on lightly, then carefully smooths it over her face.
And be careful when it comes to lipstick.
Yes. Choose a shade that goes with your own coloring and sets off your clothes to advantage. Then, easy does it. Now smooth out gently and wipe off any excess to leave only a smooth film of color, following the lines of your own lips. And finally, a last-minute once-over in the mirror. Make sure your hemline is even. Don't let your slip show.
Come on, we'll be late. Oh, boy, at the mirror again.
Well, the mirror could help you check your clothes, too, and improve your posture.
Oh, trouser cuff. Thanks. And I could straighten up, couldn't I? Well, let's hurry, or we'll be late.
Cultivate such habits as cleanliness and neatness, so you'll be well groomed.
For all through the day, others are looking at you. Your mirror tells you what others see. How do you look? How does Sue look?
How does Don look?
Health, posture, cleanliness, neatness. These grooming habits form the basis of a good appearance and a well-planned outfit of clothes, well cared for hands and nails, light touches of makeup, a becoming hairdo.
Oh, Sue, where are you?
In my room, Don.
Joe called. He said he'd be a little late. Say, do you look smooth?
Well, thank you, sir. You look mighty elegant yourself.
Uh-oh, this is where we came in.
And this is where Don and Sue go out for a pleasant evening. Their good grooming habits help them in friendships and in business. For your success depends a great deal on how you look.
No, Merlin. What are we going to have to eat? Well, I'll bring some Cokes. Why don't you bring the sandwiches?
Okay. I'll get Mother to make some potato salad. You might as well have the party over at my house.
Swell.
Okay, you girls bring the eats, and we'll bring the records.
That'll be
Well,
swell.
swell. Okay.
Well, I gotta go to class now. So long.
Bye.
Susan Jane, what's the matter with you? Why is everyone else having such a good time when you're not? Why do they always leave you out? Do you look different? Is it some way you act? What makes you the outsider? The outsider, the one nobody asks.
Golly, this assignment will take us all night. Why don't you come over at my house and we'll work it out together? Well, I'll see you about 7. Okay.
Susan Jane, you make good grades. You could really help them. Why don't they ask you? Even in things you're good at, why do they make you the outsider?
Well, look, if it hadn't been for what they did in the ninth inning, we'd be okay.
Yeah, but did you see Joe out in center field?
He was.
Hi, Marcy. Hi, Dad.
Oh, hello, Susan.
Hi, Susan Jane. What do you know? Nothing much. And did you okay if I sit down?
Sure, go ahead, sit down. Let me tell you what this guy said. It's a scheme. He said every one of our team was left looking. He said, look at this southpaw. What you folks gonna have this afternoon?
Hi, Jimmy.
I want a root beer.
A chocolate ice cream cone, please.
That's what I want, too, a chocolate ice cream cone.
Oh, I believe I've changed my mind. I want a chocolate ice cream cone, too.
Why do the other kids do everything differently? They choose different things. They stick together on everything. Why are you always the one who's out of step? Is there something the matter with you?
Yeah, I know. It's wrestling's supposed to be on.
Oh, is it? Good.
Here you are.
Oh, thank you.
Well, what in the world's the matter with her?
I don't know.
Suppose we said something?
We didn't say anything to her. Maybe that's the matter.
She's a funny girl. I don't think she likes us. Say, what's the matter with us?
Think. We might have tried to say something to her. Hi, everybody.
Hi, how's Black Cat?
Hi. Too bad the second date's terrible.
I'm afraid I slumped mine.
Let him through, will you?
Oh,
I think I
Hi. Hi, Junior. Figured out what you're gonna eat at the party tonight?
Sure. Make mine a super duper special, will you, Jimmy? Just plenty of everything, that's all I want. Say, what's the matter, Marcy?
Oh, nothing. I just don't understand that Susan Jane Smith. We were sitting here eating our ice cream cones, and all of a sudden she just jumps up and leaves. Who's Susan Jane Smith? Oh, you know, that quiet girl in our homeroom. The one who sits in front of Freddie.
Oh, that one, Mousy.
I think she's stuck up. She won't even speak to me, and I sit right behind her.
I don't think she's stuck up. I think she's probably just scared of you.
Scared of him?
Scared of me? What for? I don't know anybody that's scared of me.
Well, just the same, I'll bet that's the trouble. I bet she'd be a lot of fun.
Oh,
if you just...
forget her. Let's all go over to Lewis's and look at television.
Yeah, let's.
Say, how about my super duper special? Hey, fellas, wait for me.
Susan, I thought I heard you come... Why, Susan, what's the matter?
Nothing. Just leave me alone, Mother.
Susan Jane, something is the matter, and I want to know what it is. Now tell me.
It's no use, Mother. It's something you can't help. I must be different. I just don't fit in.
Why, of course you're different, dear. Everybody is.
No, everybody's not different. Oh, maybe they look different or dress different, but most people, the kids at school, seem to belong. They plan parties together and do homework together. And they all choose chocolate ice cream cones.
Chocolate ice cream cones? Why, Susan, that doesn't make sense. Have they left you out of something? If that's it, we can have some of your friends over Friday.
Oh, Mother, you don't understand. Can't you see? Nobody'd come to my party. They're having a party of their own, and I'm not in on it. I don't want you to give me a party. I want to go to theirs. I want to have fun with them. I want... Oh, what's the use? Nobody can help me. Not even you.
Nobody can help you, Susan Jane? Maybe you can. Sometimes it's hard to figure out why things happen the way they do, but sometimes there's a very simple answer. You were just standing there in the hall the next day, all alone, weren't you? The way you always are. And you heard the girls talking. You thought they were talking about you.
Oh, no, we can't ask her. She's a creep.
Susan Jane, who's a creep? Who are they talking about?
You said it. She'd willed everything. Can't you just see her not opening her mouth all evening, sitting there like a pole? Why can't she relax? And the clothes she wears. It'd be different if she just put herself out a little, but oh no, she's too wrapped up in herself for that.
Susan Jane, wait a minute. They're not talking about you. But you didn't wait to hear that, did you?
We just can't ask Miss Simpkins to be the chaperone at our party. We've got to get someone else. All right, we'll ask Miss Hatfield. Sure, she'd be fun. Say, Lois, why don't we ask Susan Jane Smith to come, too? What? Oh, I don't know. It's just that something happened down at the drugstore. I think I told you about it. Maybe she feels the way I did once. Maybe we ought to be a little nicer to her. Suit yourself. The party's at your house.
Hello? Yes, this is Susan Jane. Marcy? Marcy Clark?
Yes. Say, Susan, we're talking about having a party over here at my house Friday night. Not a real big one, just a bunch of us. Everybody's bringing something to eat. Why don't you come over? You could bring a cake. Nobody's bringing that yet.
But I thought you... Oh, no, I just couldn't.
Hello, Susan Jane? Hello? Hello? Susan Jane? Susan Jane, what is it?
Can't go. I just can't do it. They called me a creep. They said I'd willed everything. They said all kinds of mean things about me. And now they're inviting me to their party just so they can make fun of me. Mrs. Smith, I'm Marcy Clark.
Oh, yes.
I must have said something to Susan Jane. I don't know what it is, but I'm worried.
Marcy, Susan Jane has the idea that you kids were talking about her. She thinks that you invited her to your party just because you felt sorry for her.
Oh, no. May I see her?
Yes, of course.
Tina, I thought you were talking about me.
But we weren't. We don't even think that about you. Susan Jane, I want to be your friend. Will you come to our party?
Yes, I will. Gee, you must think I'm pretty silly.
No, because I felt the same way lots of times.
You?
Well, I have. I'll see you Friday. And don't forget to bring the cake.
Gee, to think I could be so wrong about Marcy and Lois. And if I was wrong about them, I might be wrong about a lot of other things, too. Sure, I'm different from Marcy and the rest of the kids, but then they're different from each other, too. They make friends easily. Guess I'll have to work hard at it. And I'm going to start working on it right now. Mother, they've invited me, and I'm going. And this time I'm going to try to make them like me. I'm going to fix up. I'm going to join in and not hang back. I'm going to be friendly. I'm going to like them and... Oh, Mother, do you think that'll make them like me?
Well, it's certainly a start, Susan Jane. Yes, I think this may be your chance.
Well, is everything set for the big feed?
If you mean the party, it's all set.
Just like we planned.
With one addition. Marcy's invited Susan Jane Smith.
Susan Jane Smith? Why her?
Well, why not?
I don't know. I just never thought of her fitting in with us.
Neither did I. But, gee, we'll all be there, and if everybody's there, we ought to have a good time. Let's give her a try.
She may not be so bad. We don't even know her. We'll find out.
Bye.
Well, Susan Jane, this is your big moment. The moment you've been waiting for. This is your chance to show the gang what you really are. You've fixed your hair and have on a pretty dress. You've even found a book on what to do to make people like you. And you've made up your mind not to act like an outsider. But is this enough? Will it work? Will you do the right things? Will you say the right things? Will the gang accept you, Susan Jane? Will they do the right things?
Susan Jane,
Yes, Mother?
it's about time for you to go.
In any gathering of people, personal qualities will assume a natural importance. Realizing it, we are drawn to the outstanding personalities in a crowd. Healthy, purposeful outlook is noticeable at a glance. There are people whose warmth and sincerity invite friendship from the moment you meet them. Some young people are so cheerful and lively that you always enjoy their company, and they always seem to be surrounded by friends. A neat, well-groomed appearance is bound to attract your attention. Your purpose have real value in school when you're with your friends. And these qualities will gain the world of business, people for the first time. Surely personal qualities can be instrumental in determining who gets hired for a job, gets advancements. What sort of impression does this young man make? How did he impress the guard?
There's a smart, courteous young lad. Lots of drive. They'll hire him.
A pleasing personality makes a good first impression. In a personnel office, first impressions count for a great deal. There are many other considerations. Here is a receptionist whose helpfulness and businesslike manner make the applicants feel more. Her attitude is one of pride in the company she works for.
For employment. You may fill it out there at the table. Miss Harper will see you in a few moments.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Williamson?
I think I'd like these people. Hope I can land a job.
Jack Hofstetter?
Yes?
Mr. Williamson's ready to see you now. In the office straight ahead.
Mr. Williamson?
That's right.
Thank you.
Let's listen in on that interview and see what Mr. Williamson looks for.
Your name is Jack Hofstetter, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Sit down, Jack. I see you're going to night school, eh, Jack? How do you like it?
Oh, very much, sir. I've always liked school, especially shop work.
What kind of shop work do you like best? Woodworking, metalworking, electricity?
Well, I've done a lot of wood shop, but I think machine work with metals is really my favorite. You can make useful things, mechanical things that really work.
I see. Well, you've laid out quite an ambitious program for yourself here, Jack. You know, of course, that you're going to have to spend time as an apprentice even after you finish your night school course.
That's what I want to do, Mr. Williamson. And I want to get started in a good company now, so I can work right in when I'm ready.
Good company, eh? Is that why you came here?
Yes, sir. I've worked with some of your machines at school. They're the best there are, and I'd like to help make them someday.
Okay, sir, I think maybe we can find something for you.
That's fine, Mr. Williamson. When can I start?
Well, let's see where you'll fit in best. Ambitious, eager. I believe you would be a hard worker. Likes good tools, likes to do a good job. They want a boy in the shipping room. How would he do in that job? They'd like him there. He'd apply himself to the work and he'd get along well with the others. But how long would he want to stay? Has a lot of drive, perseverance, too. But I suspect he's a little impatient for advancement. I wonder if all that ambition couldn't be put to better use in another department. Machine shop, that's where he'd like to be. He'd learn a lot, too, from some of those old-timers. Would Mr. Lang want him? Yes, Lang wants craftsmen in his department. He's tough, and he demands perfection. But I believe Jack could take criticism and benefit from it. He appears to have a lot of initiative. Mm-hmm. Machine shop. Mr. Lang, Williamson in personnel. I have a fine young man here I'm sure you'd like to have as a helper. He has the qualities you're looking for. Fine, I'll send him down.
There you are. Jack's personal qualities, his enthusiasm for the job and real interest in the company won him his chance.
Seems so very interesting. And so I came to see you.
But look here. Another interview is in progress.
Do you really like typing? Do you think you'd like to type, say, orders and bills? Careful, detailed typing.
Well, I like typing, but not so much that I'd want to do it all the time. I just took it in school because, well, I knew it would help me on any kind of a job.
I see. You don't list any hobbies. Aren't there some things you really like to do?
Well, it isn't exactly a hobby, but I just love to mix with the crowd and meet people. Oh, and I go to plays, too.
Have you ever been in a play?
No, I've always been so busy with other activities that, well, I just never had time for acting.
She's alert and eager. Those are good qualities for any employee. Let's see. How would she do in the sales department? typing. She'd get on well with the other girls, so courteous and cooperative. Could she do sales? Her speaking voice is pleasant, enunciation only fair. She could make a good impression on the phone if... Well, Emily, we might have a place for you in our sales department. There'll be a lot of typing at first. Then, if everything goes all right, you'll soon be taking orders and selling over the phone. I would suggest that you get into an amateur dramatics group. You know, in that way you'd improve your voice and your speaking manner. Those things will help you in your new job.
Oh, thank you, Miss Harper. I would like that.
Would you mind waiting for a few minutes? I have another interview out here. Then I can take you down to our sales department and show you around.
Thank you.
Mr. Rodell?
Yes. Oh, aren't you ahead of me?
I'm waiting for Mr. Williamson.
Oh, I'm Clark Rodell. I'd like to apply for a job in your bookkeeping department.
Yes, certainly. Won't you come in?
Consideration for others is certain to make a good impression. Remember, almost all business work is done in relation to other people.
To read, just look at it.
I will, thank you. You must love working for Miss Harper.
Oh, yes. Isn't she nice? She started with this company 2 years ago, right at this desk. She's good in personnel because she takes a real interest in people and really likes to work with them. Oh, excuse me. Yes, Mr. Williamson?
Will you send in Miss Metcalf, please?
I'll send her right in. Miss Metcalf? Yes? Mr. Williamson will see you now.
Thank you.
The last office.
Thank you.
He's grand to work for, too.
Emily is beginning to see some of the personal qualities that make for business success. What are they? Start with your appearance. Is it neat and businesslike? Look in the mirror. Is your hair clean, neatly cut and combed? Make sure your face reflects proper rest habits and your teeth brighten into a pleasant smile. Check posture as an aid to health. Are your hands clean? Are your fingernails scrubbed and trimmed? Are your clothes neat? Do they fit well? It's easy to take care of them. Are your shoes in good repair and regularly shine? If there's any doubt, take steps to fix up what's wrong. How businesslike are your work habits? Are you industrious? Do you apply yourself to a job and stick with it? Are you orderly? Do you keep track of your possessions and put them carefully away when you're through? Are you precise? Do you do as good a job as you can without wasting time? How well do you get along with others? Are you really friendly? Do you like people and like to be with them? Do you play fair with your friends? Are you courteous? Do you keep your relations with others pleasant and well-mannered? These are just some of the things to think about. How can you improve your personal qualities so they will serve you best when you enter the world of business? It's important.
I'd like to see Mr. Williamson again. Mr. Lang said for me to come back here.
Oh, I see you got the job.
Well, how did you? I guess I showed all over. Hi, did you?
I think so. Isn't it exciting?
Oh, it's wonderful. I've always wanted to.
Fine, Mr. Rodell, you'll start.
Well, we've seen some of the personal qualities that help young people in the business world. Are you developing the qualities you need to help you make a success of life work?
And now, I'm sure you're all interested in the results of our class selection. The votes have all been counted, and the new president of our senior class is Ray Medford.
All I want to say is, I appreciate this honor you have given me, and I only hope I can do as well.
Say, that Ray Medford sure is a swell guy.
I'll say. Just look at all the things he's done.
And you can rest assured I'll do my best to be a good president of the finest class Lincoln High has ever had.
Congratulations, Ray.
Thanks a lot, Dick. I'm sorry you both couldn't have been elected.
Oh, that's all right. If you need any help on special committees or anything, just give me a call.
Sure will, Dick. There goes what I call a good loser.
Nice one, kid.
Nice going.
At the start of his senior year, we all knew Ray Medford as an excellent student and a swell fellow. I'm the debate coach here at Lincoln High, and I regarded Ray as a fine speaker. He had won the extemporaneous speaking contest at both the district and state meets for the past 2 years. Ray was confident, sometimes even a little cocky, because Ray knew how to win.
Hi. Hi, Steve.
Oh, Ray.
Yes?
Would you come over here for a minute, please?
Okay, Mr. Murray. I'll be back in a minute.
Ray, I'd like to have you meet Marilyn Jackson.
Hi, Marilyn.
Hello.
Perhaps you remember Marilyn from the tryouts last week, Ray.
Sure. I thought you looked familiar.
We're going to use Marilyn in extemporaneous speaking this year, Ray, to sort of break her in to take your place next year.
Oh, had me worried there for a minute, Coach. I thought maybe I'd lost my place on the team.
Oh, no, I couldn't.
What I'd like to have you do, Ray, is to help coach Marilyn this year. I don't have time to give her all the help she needs, and if you could work with her...
Sure, I'll do anything I can to help.
That'd be swell.
Well, go to it, kids, and if you need any help, Ray, let me know.
Okay.
Thanks, Mr. Murray.
Have you had much experience in public speaking, Marilyn?
No, I haven't. This is just my first try. But I've heard you the last 2 years when you won the state championship for us, and you were just grand.
I was just lucky. But let's see what we can do to help you. Now first, if you go over there and...
Ray worked hard with Marilyn. He helped her find suitable material for practice. He pointed out the flaws in her delivery, suggested ways for her to improve, and, most important, Ray was patient and understanding.
Oh, Ray, I'm so sorry I'm so slow to catch on. I bet Mr. Murray won't even take me along for the trips. But it sure is nice of you to help me this way.
Look, you're doing fine. Remember now, act natural. All right, let's try it again.
Ray and Marilyn both worked hard at the job of getting Marilyn ready for competition. And as time went by, Marilyn improved steadily, with Ray always helping, always encouraging, always urging her to do better. Then came the big day of the district tournament at Lincoln High.
This tournament's just kind of like old times, you wouldn't it, Ray?
Boy, I don't know. Looks like pretty rough competition this year.
How about you, Marilyn? You ready to knock them dead?
Scared as I am. I doubt if I'll even be able to stand up. And you know what?
What?
I keep thinking, what if I start to speak and no sound comes out?
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. You just do what I told you, and you'll come out all right.
All right, Coach. But I doubt if I get very far in such high-level competition as this.
You wait and see.
Let's go.
Our team had done remarkably well in the morning, and feelings were running high when the extemporaneous speaking contest came up in the afternoon. When his turn came, Ray, as always, was sure of himself and spoke in the crisp, smooth manner that always brought approving smiles to the faces of the judges. Ray was carrying the banner of Lincoln High to another championship. Marilyn was the last speaker. At first, she had a bad case of stage fright and seemed a little shy. But once she got started, she began to appear natural and warm. The more she talked, the more confident she became. Marilyn was doing all right. And the judges? Well, Marilyn had impressed them, too. After their conference, in which they weighed the merits of the contestants, the judges announced the results.
Third place in the extemporaneous speaking contest goes to Mr. Frank Hobson. second place winner is Mr. Ray Medford. First place in the extemporaneous speaking contest goes to Miss Marilyn Jackson.
Wonderful. Thank you. Hey, good.
Gosh, Ray, I'm sorry. I don't know why they picked me, but I want you to know that I realized that it was your help that made it possible for me to win.
Yeah, sure.
Marilyn had won fair and square. But when she saw the resentment in Ray's eyes, I'm sure she would rather have lost. As for Ray, well, losing was a new experience for him, and I wasn't quite sure just how it would affect him.
Hi, Ray. Well, how's the champ?
Dad, I didn't...
Lincoln didn't have much competition this year, eh?
But, Dad,
Yes, sir. As I was telling the boys down at the office today, I said, he's won 2 years in a row, and he's a cinch to win a third.
Dad, I didn't win.
You what?
I lost.
Why, son, you've won the district title for the last 2 years straight. What happened? Did the judge...
Marilyn Jackson won.
You mean the girl you've been coaching? Well, well. Marilyn Jackson, eh? Well, what do you know about that?
Hello, Ray. How'd it go?
He lost.
Oh, well, we'll have to lose sometime. You've had your share of winning.
He lost to Marilyn Jackson. She's a little girl Ray's been getting ready to take his place. Looks to me like she got ready a little too soon, son.
Frank, you shouldn't tease him about it.
It's all right, Mary. He knows I was only kidding him. Fella's got to lose once in a while.
He seemed to be taking it pretty hard.
That doesn't mean a thing. Ray's always been a good winner, and he'll be a good loser, too.
I hope so.
Wasn't that a wonderful speech Marilyn gave you?
Yes, and did you see that look on Ray's face when she got that trophy? That was so fun.
Hi, Chuck.
Hi, Chuck.
Hi, girls. Say, Marilyn, you really surprised us. Why, now that you're district champ, your first year, why, who knows? You might be able to go ahead and win the state title for 3 years like Ray tried to do.
Say, Marilyn, I bet you
I don't think I
Well,
could.
why not? You beat Ray, didn't you? We didn't figure you could do that either.
Say, Marilyn, how did Ray take it?
Oh, fine, I guess. But look, you know I couldn't have won if Ray hadn't helped me.
Here he comes.
Hi, Ray.
Hi, Ray. Say, Ray, how about coaching me for the exhibition meet next week?
Don't do it, Ray. You just can't trust these women.
To learn all your techniques and then beat you at your own game, just like Marilyn did.
Champ the chump in 10 easy lessons.
Why don't you all shut up?
Well, get him.
He likes praises when he wins, but give him a little kidding when he loses. And, well, we're supposed to shut up.
Oh, I don't think you should tease him about it.
Well, why not? He's not any different from anyone else, is he?
Well, no, but he feels bad and he lost.
So
and-
what? He's won lots of times.
Maybe that's his trouble. He's so used to being a winner, he's never learned how to be a good loser.
Well, I never expected Ray to be that kind of a character.
Neither did
I. Well, you know what?
Ray, I'm sorry I got you into all this.
I'll bet you are.
Really, I didn't have the slightest idea I'd win. You'll always be the best as far as I'm concerned.
Is that why you smiled at the judges the way you did? Played me for a sucker all along. That old business of being so afraid. Poor helpless little girl. Didn't know a thing about speaking. Oh, what a laugh.
Ray, I didn't. Oh, what's the use?
Marilyn, I'm sorry.
Ray, will you come here a minute, please? I'd like to talk to you about plans for the state contest next month, Ray.
I won't be there, Mr. Murray. I'm not going to be on the team anymore.
Do you have a reason?
Not interested, that's all.
Ray, you don't like being second best very well, do you?
What do you mean?
I mean that since you didn't win first place for once, you've decided that if you can't be best, you won't be anything.
I don't think
I
that...
know how much winning the contest meant to you, Ray. And I know that you feel Marilyn has, in some way, betrayed you. And I know that you've been taking quite a bit of ribbing from some of your friends. But we're a team, Ray. And as a team, we win or lose together. Marilyn's first and your second place gave us the tournament. We're district champions again, Ray, largely due to your speech and your work with Marilyn. Ray, think this thing over. Think how Dick reacted after you beat him in the student council elections. Think, Ray. You can win a lot of respect and inner strength by becoming a good loser. Well, it's up to Ray now. He can still change his attitude, but he must make a decision. Does being a good winner make it hard to be a good loser? Would Ray have been a better loser if his family and friends hadn't kidded him about his loss? Will Ray ever be able to be a graceful loser? How would you have acted if you had been Ray? What do you think?
Thank you very much, Mr. Summer.
Good day. Conscience is simply the name we give to the individual's accumulated experience with approval and disapproval. Society conditions us by means of approval and reward, disapproval and punishment to accept certain actions as proper, others as improper. Now, saying that conscience is made up of conditioned responses does not lessen its importance. Conscience can make us suffer terrible guilt, or it can lead us into happier, better lives as it affects our daily activities.
Let's see how conscience affects our daily activities. Let's see what we can find out about conscience by observing how persons... By observing Lucy, you can see that she has a new sweater. You can see that she likes it very much. Now she's concerned about something. The price of the sweater seems to have something to concern. She's struggling within herself.
Mother'll have a fit if she finds out what I paid. You'll make me take it back.
Hello, dear. I thought I heard you come in. Why, Lucy, that's a lovely sweater. It's new, isn't it? My, it's beautifully made. Why, it must have cost you a fortune.
Oh, it was quite inexpensive. It cost only...
Lucy couldn't lie to her mother. Yet apparently it would have been easy to lie. Why didn't she? And why does she feel better because she didn't lie? The reason? Well, we call it conscience. And according to one explanation, it is our experience in learning to regard certain actions as proper, others as improper. Let's hear another explanation of conscience.
I think conscience is an instinctive sense of right and wrong. We all know deep down inside what's right and what's wrong. We're born with that knowledge. Only sometimes we do things thinking we won't get caught, And conscience inside catches us and makes us feel guilty.
Let's observe another incident. This one isn't so simple. Forget for a moment what Hank did. We're concerned with how he feels. And he feels worried, guilty. Should he? That isn't the question. He does. To understand conscience, you have to understand why he feels guilty. Some people explain this by saying he has violated his own instinctive sense of right and wrong. Let's hear one more explanation.
Conscience is an important concept in religion. Many of us who are concerned with religion think of conscience as something more than human, a spark of divine understanding, even the voice of God. Obedience to that voice brings spiritual peace.
Now watch and see if that explanation fits this situation.
18, 45, 65. That will be 228.
Out of 5. Say, do you know how the Sox made out today?
Yeah, they won. In the ninth.
No kidding.
Yep, Miller hit a homer with 2 men on.
Say, that Miller's really hitting this year. He's some ball.
He certainly is.
Oh, don't wrap him. I'll just take him.
Okay.
Okay, that'll be 25. Thanks. What's the matter, Bud? Don't you like your Sunday?
Huh? Oh, no. Sunday's fine. See, I bought a few things in an auto store. Came to 2 something. I gave the guy a $5 bill. Look at the change again.
Hey, you got your 5 back with the change, huh? I don't know. Some guys have all the luck.
What'll I do? It'll be closed by now.
Are you kidding? Don't do anything.
It might still be there.
Listen, the guy's that careless. It's his own hard luck. You know, I wish something like that would happen to me sometime. Hey, Bud, your Sunday.
I'll be back.
Bob couldn't keep the money, even though he was in no apparent danger of being caught, even though he did nothing wrong. His conscience directed him to give back the money. Religion tells us this is a spark of divine understanding. And notice how Bob feels. That's a part of conscience, too. Yes, conscience certainly does affect our everyday lives. It stops us from doing what we think is wrong. It makes us feel guilty if we do something we think is wrong. It drives us to do what we think is right, and then makes us feel happy, sometimes a little cocky, when we do. Whether we explain conscience as accumulated experience with approval and disapproval, or an instinctive sense of right and wrong, or a spark of divine understanding, we can learn a great deal about it by observing how people behave. Now watch what happens in this history class. Test yourself in this situation. See how much you can learn about your own conscience.
I find I've been called from the room for a few minutes. In the meantime, please continue with your examination, and I'm sure I can rely on the honor system to take my place while I'm gone.
Anybody got the answer to number 4? What?
Hey, Jerry, you're way past number 4. What's the answer?
Jerry, hurry up.
Jerry wants to please his friends, but he would have to do something he thinks is wrong. What do you think? Is it better to be a good sport or to obey your conscience? Could you resolve this question?
Hey, Susie's got the answer. Let's have it, Sue.
Come on, Sue. I have it in here. Just one. All right. Hurry up.
The teacher will be in any minute.
Susie, Susie, hold still.
Let's see now how various people feel about the same incident. Sue appears to be very much concerned. Her conscience is bothering her. In her place, would you be able to concentrate on the examination? Would you be able to do your best work? Carol is troubled by her conscience too, but she feels she must do something about it. What? Crossing out the answers she copied. Would this sort of solution help you? Would you be able to do better on the rest of the examination? Jack wants to confess, but without telling on the others. How would you do it? Would it help ease your conscience? Howard did not cheat, but still he seems troubled. How much do you worry about other people's behavior? Bill began the cheating, but he doesn't appear to be troubled at all. Do you think he's really bothered deep inside? Jerry really goes on concentrating on the examination. Does this mean he has no problem? You see, different persons react differently. Conscience affects us differently. Learning about conscience, learning to live with your own conscience, will help you live a better life with less emotional upset. Try it. Why not begin by discussing the questions raised in this film?
You win.
Yeah, come on.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, guys.
Yeah, that'll help you? Nothing will help you, man. A quarter. Hey, that's it.
There you go.
Look at that. He's not.
No, I don't.
That's
That's
bad.
kind of bad.
Bad. That's a joke. Didn't.
Those two are worse than what's kids.
Kids, yeah, he does.
Well,
Yeah, what about Nikki? She's your type.
yeah, what about her, Peter? Can you come make it with her, big boy?
Anytime I want.
Yeah, Pete. Yeah,
Give us a little more action. She's a virgin.
You wouldn't want to hurt her now, would you?
Finally caught up with you.
Come on, let's see a little action. Fun her up.
Are you chicken? Look at that lover boy lying in the sun, just waiting for the girls to come floating by.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. He is chicken.
We're your friends. We're concerned.
That's right.
Knock it off, will you?
Oh, he's just too scared. All talk and no action.
Man, everybody's gonna know you're just a big chicken.
I want you to know we're ashamed of you.
He stays in his room and reads books. He's just a big white zero.
Think you can take her out for more than a week this time? I do what I do when I feel like doing it. The only difference is I enjoy myself.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Tell us another story.
Yes,
Nikki, please.
speaking.
Oh, hello. This is Peter.
Peter who?
Peter me.
Peter me who?
Hey, that's pretty good. You're very funny.
Look, is this some kind of a joke or something?
Joke? Now, would I joke with you?
That all depends who's speaking.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. This is Peter Miller.
Do I know you?
Sure. We go to the same school.
What grade are you in?
11.
Well, that's funny. You aren't in any of my classes.
Yeah, well, I don't make up the schedule, but I wish I did.
Listen, I've got a lot of things to do. So if you just tell me what you want.
I see.
I know you and you're asking me to a movie.
Well, if you let me take you out, you'll find out who I am, right?
Well, I don't know. I'll probably have to
Look, it's not a big deal. What's there to think over? We'll go to the same school. We'll go to the same movie. Together.
But I don't know you. How do I know what kind of a boy you are?
Oh, I'm a nice guy. You can see that tonight when I pick you up. If you don't like the way I ring the doorbell, you don't have to answer it.
Tonight? On such short notice?
Why not? How many kidnappers do you think go to our lovely school?
Well, it's not bad. It's just that we should meet in daylight first.
I'm Peter Miller.
Oh, so you're Peter. I'm sorry about the other night.
It's all right. It doesn't matter.
Peter, this is Carol and Linda. Yes, we've met before.
Hi.
How come you're waiting for me after school?
Well, it's daylight, isn't it?
So?
So, are you going home now?
Part way.
I was wondering if you could go to a movie Saturday night.
Maybe. But what was so fabulous?
Look, don't take it so seriously. It's just entertainment. Besides, it takes your mind off things.
Things like what?
Problems and things.
What problems do you have?
Problems about problems about problems.
No, you're too young.
Well, look, I'm 21.
Can I see your ID?
I must have left it at home.
Too bad.
Did you see those other girls? They looked even younger than me.
Well, look, if you want to get in, all I have to do is make a few phone calls.
Forget it. I don't want to get into any trouble.
You wouldn't. Why don't we go over to your place?
What are we going to do at my place?
Listen to records or something.
My parents' friends are over.
We could avoid them. Your room's exactly the way I imagined it.
You mean you were thinking about it?
Sure. Looks cute. Like you.
Take that as a compliment.
Well, if a guy takes a girl to a movie, he's supposed to like her, you know.
Boy, what an insight you've got.
Sure, I'm a head shrinker in disguise.
Oh, what have you found out about me so far?
Your molecules are working too fast. You've got small hands.
Yours are cold.
What are you smiling at?
Your compliments.
I thought you were laughing at me.
better go now. I have to go to sleep.
That's just a waste of time.
No, seriously. Better go.
Okay, I'll call you tomorrow. Nikki?
Oh, hi. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
I'm all right.
What are you doing? I suppose you're watching TV.
No, I just stepped out of the bathtub.
I hope you're properly dressed.
Nothing that would frighten you.
Oh, it wouldn't frighten me.
What did you mean by that remark?
Well, I figured if you weren't, I'd rush right over.
Now, is that a nice thing to say?
I'm sorry. English exams in 2 days, eh? It's a stupid subject.
No, it isn't. I like it. What's wrong with it?
Dissecting sentences. Besides, I've always had crummy English teachers. And I'm scientifically inclined anyway.
Oh, it takes a lot of work.
That's the trouble.
Don't you like work?
I just disagree with it.
Well, how do you expect to get somewhere?
Work the minimum, get the maximum. That's what I say. What's this? Get out of my life, will ya?
Hey, do you like the Virgie there? Eh?
She's good looking, man. 38, 23, 36. Looks not everything, boy. What's inside? The bra.
Whoa, gross. He's falling for her, broad. Look at his face. He has that look. He's the Dracula.
She'll be okay for a night, you sadistic fiend.
Did you say seductic?
Ah, you can't win them all. You finally found one with style.
I bet she'll freeze up on you, and then you'll be stuck with her, and all she'll want is a chocolate milkshake with whipped cream in it. Cherry on top.
Look, why don't you guys stop worrying about me for a while, eh?
Hey, are you taking her to the beach party tomorrow?
Yeah, but where are you guys getting cars, eh? I can get my own man. Sure, that's great, but we're gonna need something larger than a Volkswagen.
A Cadillac's okay.
Hey, let's say we rent a hearse, guys.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. I'll see you guys at the beach party. I'll see you guys.
So what do you do in your spare time?
Talk to you.
Oh, come on. You expect me to believe that?
It's the truth. What did you expect?
Well, I don't know. What do boys usually do in their spare time?
Talk to girls. Are you coming to the party Saturday?
Well, I'll have to ask my parents first. What time would I be getting home?
Oh, about 5 o'clock in the morning, I suppose.
5 o'clock? Are you serious?
No, not really. What time do you have to be home?
12 at the latest.
That's okay. We can get you home by then. Well, I better let you go now. See you tomorrow night. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Let's get away from here.
Why?
It's too noisy. They've gone.
You're quiet.
We better go. Hey, what kind of game you guys playing anyway, eh?
Hey, how'd your game go, Peter?
Hey, you bounced her high.
love with a sweet little girl, but I'd be better off if I had no girl.
Not in school today?
I feel all right.
I see that.
That's what they said you'd do.
Warrior.
How many? One? What you got?
You guys lose.
So?
So? Hey, did you get nicked?
Very funny.
Laps? Come on, spill it, man.
Oh, they sat around water playing tiddlywinks all night.
Oh, yeah.
Like Peter.
She's all right.
Yeah.
Hey, you're a success, boy.
Got the next one all lined up?
An idea for you, man.
How about Carol?
Why don't you guys just shut up for a change, eh?
Yeah.
Hey, look at him. He's getting emotional.
Yeah, man, that's not your style.
Are you nervous or something?
You know, for a while, eh?
You're letting us down, boy.
How's that new song coming along?
Look, he's changing the subject. Yeah. Some does mine, eh? How about that?
I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Nikki?
Yes?